What were the landmarks for the civil rights movement in the 1950s? And how would you compare Martin Luther King to earlier African American leaders such as Du Bois and Frederick Douglass?
Well, the great landmarks of the civil rights in the 1950s were, first of all, the Montgomery bus boycott of 55, which began in 55 and goes into the next year, which was the first time, it was the first time that revealed the possibility of mobilizing a mass movement with the black church at its center. This became the organizing base for mass protest, nonviolent protest in the South against segregation. And the victory of the Montgomery bus boycott showed the possibility of this new tactic of massive nonviolent resistance, even in the heart of the Deep South, the most violent, segregated area of the country. But it also required a Supreme Court decision for the Montgomery bus boycott to win. And then in 57, it required another Supreme Court decision and then federal troops being sent into Little Rock by President Eisenhower to enforce decisions to integrate Central High School in Little Rock, another great landmark, which suggested that outside power was also going to be absolutely necessary if the racial system of the South was going to be overturned. Now, these are the years in which Martin Luther King, a young man at that time, comes to the fore not as the embodiment of the civil rights movement, not as the cause of the civil rights movement, but as the most prominent national figure in the civil rights movement. And King was a brilliantly eloquent speaker who had the capacity to draw on traditional American values and deep traditional Christian values in the cause of civil rights, and to use the mass media. King was a master of he knew that television was now putting daily events right into people's living rooms every single day. And if he could shape the way the black movement was presented, it would have a powerful effect on public opinion, which he did. And he used television, in effect, to force white America to think, to face up to, what it really wanted the country to be.
I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over. And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Who was white America if it was willing to sit by with all this injustice existing? And it really brought that issue right into people's homes in a way that hadn't been before. So in a way, King is the descendant of Frederick Douglass, of Du Bois, of black leaders who were advocates for integration, for democracy. But he had his own style and his own tactics, which differed from them as well.
Martin's legacy to the world was one of peace. Martin Luther King made it possible for black Americans to move into the mainstream of America's life and to be first-class citizens. He made it possible for me to be the mayor of Atlanta.